did Trump just fuck up?
About the tariffs?
Yeah, what's the feeling? Because to me, I feel like he had so much wind in his sails behind his back. He had, the stock market was booming, even though they ran on a bad economy. The economy really wasn't bad. Inflation was out of control, but things were coming back into control. He was about to inherit, something that was definitely robust and on its way up,
Yeah,
and
the numbers were great.
Exactly. And some of these, business people, they aren't fucking around. They're going to support you to a certain extent, but numbers don't lie to them, And I wonder if Trump has made a huge mistake here. What is the scuttle? Are you hearing anything yet? Are people trusting him out there?
No, definitely not. But here's the difference between Trump 1.0 and Trump 2.0. Trump 2.0 believes that he has defied the establishment already by coming back into office when people thought he was politically dead after January 6th. So this time around, he doesn't really care as much what other people think because he believes that he's right. He's long gone on and on about the trade imbalance, the deficit, which in fairness is massive. We have a huge deficit with the rest of the world. This is obviously a very drastic measure. But he's long said he's loved tariffs. He said, I love the T word. I love tariffs, and he really believes in it, whether it's right or not. And then he's in this silo surrounded by just yes men in kind of like an information ecosystem where he only gets reaffirmation. And the business community is terrified of him. Because if they squawk too much, he could just sick his Department of Justice on them. And all of the lawmakers, all of the Republicans are terrified of him as well. They're terrified of being attacked on X by Elon Musk. They're terrified of being primaried. But the thing is, every single day, like Trump was at his apex in terms of like political height and, goodwill. And every single day it goes down and down and down and down. And he has a pretty ambitious agenda with this tax cut that he wants to pass. And he needs to keep everyone in line when you have a 2 to 3 person majority in the House. That means no one can be sick. Like everybody has to be there to vote. And he wants to pass it on party lines. But like if suddenly all of a sudden he becomes increasingly unpopular, if his agenda becomes unpopular, it's going to be really hard to pass that tax cut package, which is really like all he really cares about. So he's playing. He is playing definitely. Yeah. He's playing with fire, and again, he thinks he can walk on water. He defied political gravity, and all the books that are coming out say the same thing too. By the way, if you read them about like this amazing comeback from Donald Trump. He's like, no one can tell me no. I did it once. I'll do it again. F the establishment. Like I've talked to people close to him and they're like, that's what he says.
Yeah. I think the difference now is like, when he made the famous comment about he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, and he didn't get blamed for it. And he wasn't wrong about that. That's the thing.
No.
This is the first time that I thought Trump the big risk that's going on right now to me, let me put this in a different context first. Like, I do think this past election was both an electoral and cultural shift, to go back to my other point. Like a lot of the blind spots I feel the Democratic Party had were both politically and culturally. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Like both of those things were kind of intersecting in a bad way for the Democratic Party, and Trump definitely rode the crest of both of those. He was more than the candidate. He was like the conquering hero, the returning cultural hero, and so much of that stuff. So he has to do a lot to get rid of that, And the one thing to me that resonates with people the most, of course, is their pocketbooks, right? And that's what I mean, like, of what's going on now, because they were callously just firing people from all these government jobs. But now companies are starting to let people go. There's been a lot of private industry where that's been happening now. So it feels like there's this, we're in a precarious place right now. And I'm interested to see who's going to break first in the ranks. Will it be politicians? Will it be business people? I mean, Thomas Sowell, 94-year-old Thomas Sowell criticized the Trump tariffs, like that's always been this paragon of wisdom for conservatives and, Republicans for the longest time. So who's going to break first, Tara? Is it culture or politics?
Okay. So Chuck Schumer, he actually managed to pass a bill as minority leader. And it was a bipartisan bill to rein in Trump's tariffs. And he obviously had to do it with the support of a number of Republicans, right?
Yeah.
And one of them was Chuck Grassley, who is very conservative. He's very old as well, from Iowa. I want to make sure I get it right, the others that voted, but there were 3 other Republicans that voted so it was a messaging bill, because it will die in the House. There's no way
they wanted to take executive authority away from tariffs and have it go through the legislature first, right? Or the Senate
first. Which is
first.
the typical way of doing it. Like, that's how you would normally do a tariff. And so that's a little bit of just showing some, I guess you could say, dissent, which is rare to find among the ranks of Republicans. But, it's just like you kind of open up the civ a little, like you're opening up the gap a little bit, allowing others to start dissent. And more, if there is a downstream economic effect, with members in the House and Senate have told me on the right and the left, like that will cause the uprising. Like that is when Donald Trump will start to get pushback. Like when he tried to pass the tax cuts in 2017, he's lost 13 votes, including Elise Stefanik, who had to be pulled from the UN ambassador job, which is a sign that they feel like they're not on very strong ground politically around the country. Wow. Okay. And so he can only lose 2 to 3 votes. He's really risking his political capital, and he's not even into 100 days of his, first 100 days of his second presidency, you could say. Yeah. So yeah, it's a risky move. And for the most part, everyone's been a good soldier out of fear. Like he has managed to really keep people in line. He's got a strong political operation thanks to Elon Musk. Elon Musk just gave him another $100 million, right? But now that they're breaking up, or at least Elon Musk is going to retreat into actually running his companies again, who knows if he'll still be his sugar daddy. And without money, it's pretty hard to really control your party and keep them in line. But for some of these guys, like in upstate New York, like Mike Lawler, for him to flip his seat, it's pretty easy. Like these are seats that Democrats win all the time. And so he's thinking about that. He's up for re-election in a year. Trump suddenly is out of vogue. You think he's going to vote for his tax cuts? No, I don't know. It's going to be tough. I know I keep talking about the tax cuts because that's like the only thing that's really legislatively on the calendar. Everything else, and that's the thing that Trump really cares about, like everything else he's trying to do through executive order. And then he'll have to fight it out in the courts. But that's another thing. Like the courts don't have a militia, right? Like they kind of have police enforcement-ish. But like the only person who has a militia and a military is Trump. So courts are only as powerful as popular political opinion are behind them. And if the popular favor is towards like reining Trump in rather than giving him power, then he's going to be in trouble even with these court cases that he's trying to defy. Yeah,
a lot of the thing that worries me the most about the Trump administration, it's not so much agreeing or disagreeing with policy. It's just that, you talk about DEI. I mean, they use DEI to me in displacing expertise for ideology, which to me, there's this whole snottiness towards expertise that, it predates Trump too, like automatically calling anybody with institutional knowledge the swamp.
I agree with you. A Fox News host is our Secretary of Defense.
Why? There's no reason for this.
Yeah. He was and the way that he texted the attack plans, it was like he was feeling his new power out, but, showing off to his friends on a text message with emojis and all, like, check it out, guys, I can bomb Yemen. Yeah, bro. What is going on here? Not to mention that he's pretty young as well. A lot of these people are, and to me, it's not even necessarily just the inexperience. It's also the fact that they're yes men and they'll do whatever Trump wants.
Exactly. That's what I mean by ideology is picked over that. It's valued over that.
You've seen a little bit of pushback because of Elon Musk and like his whole 5 things. A lot of these, send me the 5 things you did last week to one email address that has been hacked before. Insane, right? Getting people who are working on like classified top secret information and projects to respond to one email address that's been hacked. I was talking about this last night and like, I really worry that the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians, like they may have hacked so much communication from our top secret, like national security team. If Mike Waltz didn't just have this PCC attack group and had multiple other chat groups on Ukraine, et cetera, on his Signal commercial messaging app that's been hacked already before by Russians.
Yeah.
Imagine that. They're just reading all the communications and intel and classified. And like, that's the stuff that keeps us safe. Like I know it sounds weird to say this, but like I lived in Brussels for a few years as a foreign correspondent. And when I was there were a lot of terror attacks at the time. And the country was not capable of like thwarting them, of keeping the people there safe. Like I was at the airport when a bomb went off. There was a bomb that went off below my office. My yoga teacher has lost half her body. Like it impacted real people because we were constantly under lockdown. It was a country that had porous borders, and they couldn't coordinate in terms of intelligence, and they couldn't stop these attacks. What if we become a country like that? And you know who helped and stepped up and really stopped those attacks? I don't know if you noticed eventually the attacks in Europe with the ISIS attacks, they kind of stopped after 2015, 2016. Is because the Americans got involved. Like that has always been our biggest asset. And the thing that has protected America is that like we're really good at like keeping our secrets and keeping our allies' secrets so they share them with us. And that's how they keep us safe. But if these people are playing willy-nilly, like just texting off everything that's going on, there are probably so many more data breaches and security breaches that we don't even know about right now.
Yeah,
and that's terrifying to me. Also, I know this sounds weird to say this, but I'm 37. And they're just so close in age to me, and they have such big jobs. Like I'm just kind of like,
who are these people?
My peers?
How did they get there?
How are these millennials in the White House right now? Get them out!
Oh, that's hilarious.
Give the job to some adults. Jeez.
What is your spidey sense on the Democratic Party right now? Who's going to emerge? Because they do have a communication issue. I agree with that. Or maybe it's an identification issue. Is that a better way to put it? Like of people being able to identify with whoever is in the leadership positions. Have you seen any hints of who's going to be that type of person at all?
Yeah, I think about this a lot, actually, because there's like, if there was a 2028 election today, there would be, or 2027, whether there's the primaries, there would probably be 2 to 3 stages at this point, the number of people that are going to run. And a lot of them are very impressive. Like the governors, particularly like Wes Moore and Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, obviously your Gavin Newsom, and then, now Rahm Emanuel, and now Cory Booker back, so there's like a ton of people that want to run, possibly AOC. But in these times, like sometimes a phoenix rises from the ashes, kind of like Obama did, like the one-term, senator that ends up taking the party forward after Bush. Like even Trump, like, could you have really seen Trump coming?
No.
No. And it was like after the Tea Party, the party, like Republicans are lost. They're basically where the Democrats are right now. Then the Tea Party rises up. Then Trump comes along and he completely changes the orthodoxy of the party. Like the Democratic Party could change significantly right now.
Yeah, I think it should.
So, and so maybe it's someone else. Like I think it could be a cultural leader, because I think cultural leaders are way more impactful at this time. Maybe it's a big podcast host. I don't know.
No, it ain't gonna be me.
But I'm saying, like someone like a Joe Rogan of the left could end up being that person, or even an actor, or like someone who that there is like a someone who kind of has like understands media and has. There seems to be like you kind of have to be famous now to become president in a way that's like really
It cuts out a lot of the initial getting to know you work, I think.
Right. You have a following. AOC is pretty famous as well already. She's got, she's got great name ID, although a lot of people I mentioned have great name ID. But I think there's such a craving for authenticity that a lot of these governors are going to suffer. And that's why I think someone who comes from Hollywood, or someone who comes from like the culture space, the podcast space, like another kind of wealthy billionaire type that's like, Mark Cuban, I just interviewed him, and he said he would run as a Republican because he thinks it's the path of least resistance, and he's obviously an independent. But like someone like that's a Democrat too, who people know from television for being successful in the same way that like Trump and The Apprentice. But maybe it's not television because people aren't watching TV as much anymore. Maybe it's like someone people know from That's why I'm going to say something crazy, Larry.
Influencers are the biggest people now, you know?
Yeah, I think a podcast host could be our next president.
That's crazy. But, people thought it was crazy. Reagan was an actor, that he became governor and then president,
So which one is it going to be, me or you?
It's not going to be me. So you're looking at your next president right there, Tariff Palmeri. You're the right age. You're coming up. You got the good smile. You're photogenic, all that kind of stuff.
No,
you're in the right circles right now.
Yeah. No. I am not actually interested in politics at all. Like even though I cover it and I'm like obsessive with it, I'm not partisan because like I kind of see the faults in both sides.